Am I live? Which I realize is a silly question to ask if I actually am live. But I don't know whether or not I'm live because I'm using the old system here in the Play Shop to broadcast, and I'm hearing notifications going off on another computer over there. So I can't tell what's going on. I don't know if I'm live or not. Well, if I am, awesome. Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo. You've tuned in to another live edition of the Locker Room Daily Report, which isn't as daily as you would expect it to be, you know, having daily in the title. I'm not going to start off by talking about Star Wars, though that will come. I will also throw in there that this webcam filter that I have is amazing. It's projecting this this lip brow here. Isn't that so cool? And look, I can put my hand in front of it, and it's still there. It's got this depth thing going on. Like I can cover half my face, and the filter makes it look like I have facial hair. If lighting looks weird, it's because one of my cans has got a burnt bulb. Looks like I need to replace it. I just haven't really bothered. Thank you for tuning in. I have set the title on something very, very important. Met with a friend the other day, and I would consider him a friend because we've gotten together on more than one occasion. I met him on an activation a year or two ago, and he says, "Hey, Chris, I've got something for you." And I said, "Okay, is it Star Wars?" And he said, "No." And I said, "All right, well, talk to you later." That's not how it happened. No, but he did genuinely have something for me, and it's something that I've been kind of looking for. It doesn't have, not to disappoint, it has nothing to do with Star Wars. It has nothing to do with it. By the way, this video brought to you by my unboxing juice, which clearly I drink out of plastic cups. Get it? Clearly, because you can see through it. Look, you can even see the filter works through cups. No, this is the product here, and I will put a link for it in the video description. This is something that I've been looking for, despite having somewhat of a decent setup in our car. We are a one-car household. We share a vehicle, if only to save costs, massive amount of costs, as well as the environment. This is a wireless car. Well, as it says, a charger that's got basically an inductive plate there for wireless charging, but specifically charges, when it says fast, 15 watts. So it's fast charging. I've needed something like this. We have needed something like this because despite us having CarPlay and Android Auto integrated with the screen in our vehicle, we don't have a place to put our phones when they're charging, when they're connected, and that's kind of a problem, right? We put it on the seat, cram it somewhere, and that could damage it. And I'd been looking for something like this, but it always kind of been stymied with the amount of these types of products that are out there, because there are quite a few, and I would want to try to get something that would work in a variety of situations, as well as provide fast charging, wireless charging potentially, and just work for us. And I'm very happy. Again, this product was provided to me. This is, I'll link it in the video description as well. It's titled, I'm just reading from the box here, Voya, V-O-I-A, 15-watt, fast wireless car charge, automatic induction. I mean, that is about the most descriptive title that one could hope for. But what's nice about this particular product, yes, it is available, and it should be available right now, is that it is flexible in a variety of situations. Yes, it's fast, but for us, we wouldn't necessarily have the dash to place the suction cup on. This is a part of it there with the suction cup. We didn't necessarily need this particular part, but it does come with it, right? So if we needed to, say, stick it to the windshield, we could. But what we needed is specifically one that would attach solidly. And when I say solidly, like we wanted it and needed it to stay on the vent. We did not need it to fall off. And so this particular product, right, allows you to have your phone charger plate apparatus to be attached to a vent in a very clean, in a very clear capacity. You've got the clip right there. It works much better on a vent than it does my fingers. And I'm telling you, there is tension there, which is good, because you don't want this thing to be falling off and flying all over the place. It's very clean in the sense that there are no logos splashed everywhere. It is, in our car, something that is seamless. It doesn't jump out. It's solid. You can this ball hinge allows you to pivot it in a variety of positions. Not that you would necessarily need it to in our environment. Again, we have something that we're lucky enough that the car that we lease has the Android Auto and CarPlay screen. But if you didn't, you would want something that would allow you to position so that you would be able to see this screen without touching it. That's very important, especially in our state, because it's illegal to interact with these devices. You can actually get an EDUI. I can't right now because I'm safe at home, obviously, not in a vehicle, not in a moving vehicle, but the fact that we could get one kit that would allow us to maneuver, or I guess switch between this particular option all the way over to this option, and we could, I'm not going to reposition that particular, this particular part, just to show you, I can swap back and forth. Not that you would, but when you find the one, or you've got the particular base that you need, you'd be able to put it in whatever position that your car would mandate. It's just nice to have options without having to buy the same thing over and over and over again. And this is easily going to serve us not just in this vehicle, but certainly beyond. And I would say that the plastic is higher quality. Not that I would be a judge of plastic, but the fact that it was solid enough. Oh, there's notifications there. I'm live, apparently. Okay, that's great. I'm live. Hopefully, everyone else knows that I'm live as well. But the fact that I'd be able to, not have to rebuy when we release a vehicle, or something that would be sturdy enough that it would seem to stand the test of time, is great. And speaking of test of time, this is another benchmark for me. I've made choices with devices that I get, based upon what kind of port is built into said product. Specifically looking just to standardize on USB Type-C. Honestly, I'm done with micro USB, done with mini USB for certain. But, a lot of the products that are out there, they're still using the old USB standard. I'm like, that's no good. So USB-C was an absolute must, and I'm here to say that not only does it have a USB-C port to support the fast charging, inductive, again, the wireless charging there. And yes, by the way, you can adjust these particular arms, if you would call them arms, to fit your phone or phones, because, again, we share a vehicle. My wife, Diana, has a different phone than I do. It's a little smaller, a bit more svelte, so she could adjust it to her needs. But it also comes with a USB-C cable, of course, Type A on the other end. You could, of course, get an adapter in case you don't have a USB port in your car that supports the 15 watt power flowing through it. You can get an adapter, like a cigarette lighter adapter, that should support it and be fine. Your car doesn't need to support anything to effectively use a product like this. And so this was something that I had been, eyeballing at a distance, but never really made the leap because I really wasn't sure. I didn't want to get the wrong product, because there's a lot of wrong products out there that, quite honestly, start looking the same after a while. They look the same. At a distance, you can't tell. I mean, when you're online, you're just like, well, sure, it looks good at a distance, but is it built well? Is it really simple enough to get going with, and is it going to stand the test of time? Is it durable? And, I've been using this, of course. Once something's set up in a vehicle, it's usually there and you're good to go for a long while. This doesn't feel cheap at all. And the fact that it has just about every configurable option depending on your vehicle imaginable in one kit, USB Type-C, coupled with, and there's the photos right there, right? Coupled with, the USB-C cable, Can't have enough of these. Usually I just trip down to the dollar store to get USB-C cables, and they work just as well sometimes. But this one seems to be a bit more than this particular cable seems to be hopefully a bit better than the dollar cables that I've been buying, which admittedly kind of burn out. I'm talking about the other cables that I buy, not this one. This one hasn't necessarily been used, extensively. This seems to fit the bill. So I'm very grateful that I had this option to keep this, and because it's been given to me in the vehicle. It's got just about everything that I would have hoped for, in something that I just don't feel like I have to tiptoe around, right? Something that's just going to snap or break, something that would otherwise not jump out amongst a sea of products that would work in this particular way. But yeah, very happy to have the vent mount, very happy to have the ability to adjust, very happy to have wireless charging, very happy to have it, fast charging if we do. We haven't upgraded to the fast charging adapter. That's separate, like for the the old remember the cigarette lighter? Remember people used to have cigarette lighters in their car, right? Those are still used primarily as ways to draw electricity from the vehicle. But having that USB-C compatibility, I would say is relatively awesome. So it's future-proofed. It works very well today in a variety of situations. We're not likely going to be using the suction cup mount because our car at this point in time isn't suited as well suited for this particular mount as it would be for the vent mount, because we do have a screen that's built in. We do have Android Auto, but just having that phone there without necessarily having it slid off to the side, having it specifically docked, and then when we do get the car charger for the 15-watt charging experience, let me adjust that again, sliding it in and having it. And in fact, I think there's I don't know, I guess I don't have enough of a magnetic stick to it. I want to say it's a magnetic base. I don't want to say that definitively, because that's not been my experience with my particular device. But the fact that it could just sit there, steady, right, it's out of the way, yet in the way, it's finally got a place to go to charge quickly. I'm happy. I'm thrilled to have that in the car, and the fact that it is durable says everything to me. Especially that you're going in to the car, you're leaving the car, you're putting your phone in, you're removing it. There's a lot of activity that could provide wear and tear for this particular product. But I promised I would. He gave it to me. I said, yeah, I'll talk about it. Happy to talk about it, because this is something that we'd been looking forward to getting, just never really made the plunge. We didn't really have to. Because the plunge was made for us. And so I will be able to put a link to this particular product, a link to it in the video description. I'm not going to attach like any of my affiliate, program stuff to it. It's just going to be a raw Amazon link. I'm not going to take any, credit for the referral at all. I know you're shocked. You're like, what's going on? Like, no creator does that. Honestly, if this was the thing that you were looking for, awesome. If you get this and you're happy, I'm happy. I'm happy. I've got it, right? It works. Happy to say that it works. And very happy to have friends like that. God, who couldn't use more friends like that? Hey, Chris, I got something for you. Really? Do I need it? Yes, I do. I did. No longer. So if you're a friend of mine that also has one of these or knows of one of these, I'm good. I have another friend who took care of me because he knew a person that took care of the problem. So this, I don't know what an ultimate kit looks like for the car, mounting, wireless charging for phones, but this is about as good as I've ever seen it. And it's about as good as I've ever used. So there you go. Testimonial for you. I'm going to go ahead on a Friday evening and continue to have my unboxing juice. Wasn't really an unboxing, though, so thank you for bearing with. Does that accidentally activate the Google Squeeze? The mount I have does each time I put my phone in it. I guess I haven't had that trip, and maybe because I have the sensitivity changed differently, Tyler, on my Pixel 4. It hasn't been a problem for me. at least, and maybe I just don't have it tight enough. Not that I need it too tight. As long as it's not going to like fly off in front of me, and you'll notice that the grips here, and well, maybe you won't notice, but they're kind of curved in, so the phone's not going to start flying off. I'm telling you, this is not just plastic just slapped together. I mean, whoever designed this designed it very, very well. Designed it for usability and safety, at least as far as, the phone. It has not, when I've stopped, it has not flown off. It has not moved 1 millimeter to my knowledge that I could perceive. It certainly hasn't flown into my face. That's all I'm looking for in a dash mount, right? A vent mount for my phone. And what are you gonna do? Just looking at some of the comments here. Am I going to review the Star Wars Note 10 collector set? Matthew Goodwin, I would love to. However, I'm not going to spend the money on that. It's just not going to happen, because why would I? I'm fine with my phone. Do I need Star Wars on it? Yes. I've got the Star Wars app. I'm good to go. Samsung, to my knowledge, has the license right now. They're doing it. That's awesome. It's just, it's not on my radar. Too expensive for what I would need from it. Because I'm set, right? I don't need much. I just want it to be a good software experience. Although, that said, the Pixel, for Star Wars, oh yeah. Did you know that they've got a Star Wars, a little, what do they call them? Filters or whatever, stickers in Facebook Messenger now? It's really cool. I'm going to be very angry when Facebook pulls that. Because they will, right? Because you can change the background to like a star field and change the stickers, and they've got little things that you can press a button for, and you're like Poe Dameron with his X-Wing outfit and everything. It's pretty cool. Scrolling through, seeing some more comments here. Chris, what do you think of the new Xbox? I think it's XE. XE. Not to be confused with Intel's XE. XE, because it's all X. Xbox Series X. Hey, maybe if we put another X on it, that's 3 X's. This is a triple X title there. Xbox Series X. That's 3 X's in the title. That's XE. What's going to be the next cool letter? Like X is like, why don't they just call it X? At this point, just forget the box. Just call it X. We get it. We know what it is, right? Just call it the X. X. I'm good. To answer that question, I got the... I should have brought the box in. I didn't think of this. The Atari Gold... I think it's the Series 9... Not Series 9. The Gold 9 edition of the Flashback. Right? They put the old ROMs on this Atari console-looking thing that's got the old ports for classic joysticks with the pins, which you need to use the paddles. And I do have the old paddles from an old vintage or a thrifting run. I haven't plugged them in, but I installed it tonight. The Atari Flashback, the 9th edition. Whatever it is, the one that was released last year, gold, 120 ROMs, including Activision ROMs, with a couple of joysticks, wireless joysticks. My hope is to be able to hand one of these joysticks to Jedi, so that instead of her watching me play Jedi Fallen Order, we can actually play a game together, like Air Sea Battle, or one of the old, easy to play ROMs like Combat. Simple things. Pick up and put down. Pick up and put down. Boy, this juice is fantastic. So what do I think about the new Xbox? I think I'm using the Atari Flashback. That's what I think about the Xbox right now, because I have no real need to upgrade at this stage. Maybe I'm just too much of a retro gamer to be interested. Let's see here. Can you do a follow-up showing this in the car? Jeff asks. Yeah, I guess I could. I guess maybe that would have been more interesting, but it's not as easy to do a live video in the vehicle, especially when your family's using it. They're hitting all the local McDonald's, because McDonald's has got the Star Wars toys, so and the Happy Meals, right? And the toys are kind of uninspired though. They're little hologram things like keychain, tree ornament thing. Not very interesting. But, we can get, like, stickers and masks and Happy Meals, Star Wars Happy Meals. The boxes. I think there are, like, 4 of them available. So they're hitting all the local McDonald's looking for that. They like that stuff. They like going to the play place. Jedi, bounces around and all the play toy things. And I'm like, as long as I get toys at the end of the day, you're good to go. They can do whatever. Do whatever. Am I still eating plant-based? I am. Why are you asking me? I'm glad you are asking me. I shouldn't ask why you're asking. This unboxing juice is plant-based. It's grapes. It's grape juice plus. Only real nerds understood that reference. Only real nerds do. Hang on just a second. What's going on here? Scrolling through. Blah, blah, blah. Your comments are great. Speaking of toys, I do have a request I just tweeted out. I don't like talking about what our family does for other families. Suffice it to say, and I mentioned this in our Discord server, live.pirillo.com. You're welcome to join. Not much activity, but we've kind of adopted a couple of families. One family, a local family, had a young boy, a little older than Jedi, and they were visiting the other night, and it wasn't just the other night, it was about a month ago, and Jedi and this boy were playing with her Lego bricks. And Jedi, of course, has a lot of toys. She certainly has more toys than I ever did. And, they were playing with them, and it was time for the boy to go. And, I wouldn't say the boy was sad, but I asked him, like, has he ever played with Lego bricks before? And I don't know if he did, but he didn't have any. So I went into the garage, and the reason why is because we were actually... I've been thrifting for Lego bricks, which I'll get at a pretty good price typically, but I had set aside some big bags of Lego bricks, like true Lego bricks, not like Lego mega knockoffs, like true authentic Lego bricks that Jedi was going to take to Mexico to her cousin, who had also never had Lego bricks. So she's got a cousin in Mexico, never had Lego bricks. This cousin of hers is in a stark contrast to Jedi's life. Her very, I don't know how distant, but a cousin that at least second or third cousin he actually made Lego like bricks and painted them like in a marker to have some kind of Lego building experience. So the hope is that we'd be able to get him some real Lego bricks and get him like his own true Lego bricks that he would otherwise never be able to attain. And so I went to the garage because I knew I'd be able to get these again, because they when I find bricks on sale at a good price, I'll typically pick them up if it's a good deal, if it seems like it's a good variety. So I took this bag of bricks that was otherwise going to go to Jedi's cousin. I'll have to get more Lego bricks for him, and brought it to this other boy, and basically gave him this huge bag of Lego bricks. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like a gallon bag, like huge bag and it was packed. I mean, it was set, but he kind of lit up, and I was like, all right, I got this kid never had Lego bricks. He's like Jedi's age. He doesn't. Who knows when he's going to have this opportunity, right? So, this is, like I said, typically not something that I talk about. It's not something you work into conversation. The reason why I bring this up is because I took care. This boy is set. Like, we Santa Chris did his thing. This is why I've been not been broadcasting in the evenings, because when I'm not at work, when I'm not doing things, my intel work, in the evening, I was looking for stuff for this boy. He's an only child, much like Jedi, and so he's now set. But then Diana told me about another family, that she's they've known. The children, some of the kids go to Jedi's school, or at least one of her schools. And they didn't have much. They haven't had much. And I was like, all right, well, like, what can we do? So I assembled some things. I put some stuff together, some package, a bigger box together for these other kids for Christmas. And one of the boys is 4 years old, or about 4 or 5, and another boy is about 13. So there's a huge time, age difference, age gap. The 13-year-old likes Star Wars enough that he was asking Diana about Jedi Fallen Order. I'm like, okay, he knows, but they haven't had much, right? And I was like, oh man, like I mean, I'm thinking like being a 13-year-old not having like Star Wars toys, like for real? All right. Santa Chris is on the job. Now, what we do in these situations is we'll typically get the things and then give them to the parents. So, like, you decide what's going on. We do, let Santa Claus do his thing, but here, there you go. We're just all we're doing is holding on to things for Santa Claus. And so I had a vintage Imperial Walker, a vintage AT-AT, that I picked up thrifting for like $4 or $5. It's in decent shape, but it's like missing a lot of parts. I'm missing quite a few pieces, like as a lot of them are prone to. But if you have any beater pieces for the old Kenner AT-AT, the old one, I'm talking like the original, not the remake, I'm going to give this walker in its current condition. This is what I tweeted out like right before the broadcast, as well as posted on Facebook, because I'm looking like if you have parts, I'm looking to make it as complete as it can, because it's probably never going to be more complete, but I want to be able to give that as a part of this package. That's not just the only thing, as a part of the package of the family, which has 3 kids, to this 13-year-old boy who otherwise would probably not have a walker. Could he have picked it up for $5? Sure. What I'm saying is, I'm not sure the family would have necessarily had that kind of flexibility to be able to, if not just the awareness that you could thrift, that kind of product. So I'm looking to complete a vintage AT-AT, if I can, before we give it over in the next week or so. These are the things you wonder what I do when I'm not doing video here. That's what I'm doing. So it's kind of fun. Trust me, Jedi is set. Jedi has her vintage. She's got not complete, but 2 vintage AT-ATs of her, because I find them thrifting. Like $5. I'm like, I'm not gonna walk past a vintage Star Wars anything. Like I won't do it. I did it once, and I'm like, I regretted it. If it's in decent shape, I'll pick it up. So, I'm happy to, give one of our, otherwise sitting in the garage Imperial Walkers to a kid that would probably really appreciate it. I wish I could give him more. So, speaking of toys, one of my favorite topics ever, I do want to show off a couple of toys that were sent to Jedi. Or our family, really. Not just the one that you saw, the other week. If you noticed the tweet of Darth Vader walking through the zoo as it was lit up on the Star Wars night, where Santa Vader was there. I took that picture on Instagram. It was for real. I didn't get to meet Santa Vader in person, but took this one with me. Hasbro sent this. It's a part of a series that they've got specifically aimed at the very younger children. And, some people would look at this and think, why? I think it's great. I wish this was around even when Jedi was even younger than she is now, because it's a great way of kind of introducing Jedi to the fandom. Now, granted, I was collecting the vintage figures for Jedi, but this would have been just as much fun. The lightsaber, by the way, does come out of Vader's hand. They also make a Chewbacca in this particular scale, but kind of fun to play with and pose. They also sent this, and another great way of getting kids pulled into the fandoms, Transformers. If you're not familiar, they have a series called Rescue Bots. This is Rescue Bots Academy. It's Bumblebee, right? And it transforms, but it also stores the vehicles. So they sent this, and it comes with just one particular vehicle. It's Bumblebee is the big one, but what is the little vehicle? I'm not sure I know what that little vehicle is. I'm not sure what it is, but it does transform. And the nice thing about these Transformers is they're super simple to transform. Unlike the classic Transformers, right? But this is something that Hasbro makes as well, specifically, for the younger generations. You don't want to give a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old, right? A 3-year-old like a Transformer that was designed for like a 15-year-old, right? But if you enjoy the fandom, right, you want to kind of bring them into it, and that's why I really appreciate Hasbro kind of bridging that gap. Hasbro also sent. By the way, before I go further, Jedi has some Transformers. I will say this particular this Bumblebee, and hopefully Hasbro doesn't get mad at me, but they did send it. This is going to the 4-year-old that I just mentioned from one of the families that we've kind of quote unquote adopted. So someone's going to be happy about this. They will also potentially be happy about this. I did not grow up with the Power Rangers at all, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, barely. But this particular, I had to hold it like this because it's so tall. It reminds me of Voltron, which I realize is probably like crossing the streams. But this, it transforms into like a lion of sorts. Right here, Power Morphin Megazord. I know nothing about Power Rangers. Diana kind of grew up with them. But what's cool about this is, again, it's a fun little play set, ages 3 and up. A lot of playability in there. You can get different, the different Power Rangers figures in there. Go Power Rangers! I guess that's what they say, right? I didn't grow up with them, right? Either way, I know it comes with it does come with a figure, one of the red Power Ranger there. I know the family that is going to get this is going to appreciate it and enjoy it, because this toy is going to help make a Christmas for them. And so I'm happy that we have this to give. That's a part of a package, not the only thing. But so Hasbro sent those two things, and I'm just going to make sure that, because we already opened the Darth Vader, this one, and they sent those two, as well as a Spider-Man set that went to the other child who never had a Lego brick. So I'm doing my best to help Santa Claus. And I think it's in the right spirit. But what I love is that Hasbro is kind of, they're making it easier for younger. And again, I know there's probably a schism like, they're pulling kids in younger and younger. I'm like, yeah, darn right. I love it. I love the fact that, in fact, I've long wanted them to do that with Star Wars. Long wanted them to do that. So if this is just the beginning, that's awesome. Because I wish there was more I wish there were more Star Wars toys for babies, for kids, like 3-year-olds, right? And there has been, but not like that. That would be my one wish, and I'm not sure if that's Hasbro thing or a Lucasfilm or Disney thing. Another product that was sent to us. These things are so cool. I mean, I'm kind of glad they didn't really do these kinds of things when I was a kid. Otherwise, I'd have gone nuts. I collected the Battle Beasts. I think I have all of them. Last I checked, not with accessories, but at least the figurines themselves. I went back and completed that vintage collection. Completed my Mask vintage collection, just the figures, which I loved. Did not even come close to G.I. Joe. Never really had Transformers as a kid. But there are a lot of these types of products out there, right? Where you get these, laundry lists of checklists of these little figurines, collect them all. And what's neat about this particular series, super things, right? The byline is Rivals of Kaboom. 80 super things to collect. So they're like, average, objects. This one appears to be like an ice cream cone, or like with, the yogurt on top. This one appears to be like a battery, and I can tell it's a battery because it's got like a plus and a minus there. Kind of geeky. So you can collect 80 of these little fun super things, and they're also, I think, pencil toppers. And so these are so much fun. But like I said, I would have gone nuts trying to collect them all. And so this is from Goliath, not Hasbro, not trying to cross the streams. But they sent kind of a little care package of sorts of these super things. And they've got, vehicles and accessories. And even have, it looks to be like is that a comic book, a coloring book in there? Wait, comic guide. And I mean, they got backstories. I just love this stuff. Blind bags. I mean, it's just, this is, to me, this is something I would have gone nuts over. No, this would have been my garbage pail kids. That's what these things are. This is what it reminds me of. Mine are garbage pail. My generation garbage pail kids. This generation super things and things like it. So these particular toys, some of them haven't been opened. Jedi opened one blind box, and happy to have these now. I'm just going from toy to toy to toy to toy, aren't I? No slowing down, is there? Not with toys, not with me, not as far as, and trust me, you can't even see. You can't tell right here, but I am surrounded by toys. I truly am. Toys. I'm never gonna stop. I should just call it a day and say, fine. I'm a toy buyer. You got to sell toys too. Toys that make us, or the toys that made us series. Is it series 3? Season 3 is out. So I watched TMNT last night. I'm like, okay, some interesting stuff. Then I'm gonna watch the wrestling figures. I'm like, okay, I'm just not. They're not my fandoms. And I'm like, okay, I'm learning something new. But the toys that made us, like the first and second seasons, I was like, yeah. And now it's kind of like, I'm too old. Not my fandoms. Now Star Wars will always be my fandom. So I've been waiting for some time to open this. This is the AT-ST Raider, now that it has been released or seen on The Mandalorian. I have a chance to open it. I mean, I had a chance to open it beforehand. But never having had a vintage Scout Walker, I just didn't. That wasn't really into vehicles as a kid. For some reason, the Chicken Walker, the Scout Walker, has always kind of fascinated me. I don't know if I'd be as compelled to have picked this up on its own. Yeah, certainly nice to have another Scout Walker, but specifically because of the Klatooinian Raider. It's the only way to get this figure. Right now, I believe this is a store exclusive. A little overpriced for what you get. Wait for it to go on sale. I could not. I got I used a coupon, like 25% off, plus like $10 off or something crazy. Otherwise, I would not have sprung for it. Okay, let me see if I can cut out the Klatooinian Raider. This is the only thing I'm interested in, right? The figure. It's always going to be the figures for me. Always, always, always. Always and forever. I will always be happier with the figures. So I'm not going to keep him in the baggie. I'm going to try to get him out of the baggie. Does he come with an accessory? No accessory? That's kind of a shock. No. Oh yeah, he does have a gun. Looks like a Palace Blaster. Let's not lose that. Because those things, I mean, the vintage Palace Blasters, man, for Jedi Luke and Lando, they're pricey. So we've got, it's a black, not the vintage collection. I almost said Black Series. You can't remove, you can. Okay. So you can reposition its head. These are my kind of figures. Like, if it was just like a pilot, I'd be like, eh. But like an alien or a creature, I'm like, yeah! But honestly, I'm gonna slag Hasbro for this. These things need to come with 2 of these. Or like 3 or 4 or 7. Give me more figures. The only way to get this particular figure, not on card, which I'm fine with, but the only way to get this figure is specifically... wait, hang on. He's got another blaster, which apparently is molded into the belt. Never mind. Is to get... This is the reason I got the AT-ST Raider. Specifically for this. Specifically for the figure. I know. Ah! Okay, I'm not going to assemble this right now. watched The Mandalorian, episode 6. Business, who of course I live stream Star Wars games with last weekend. He asked what I thought about it. I enjoyed it. I mean, to me, and I know some people are, they're vocal about what they like and what they don't like. I guess if it's Star Wars to me, I'm good. Like, I don't need everything to be perfect all the time. I just enjoy it. I just enjoy losing myself in it. And certainly the episode, hit the mark for me. And I don't want to, talk about it too much because I don't want to, throw out any spoilers. Liz is here. You enjoyed the movies that made us. Yes, I watched the Ghostbusters movies that made us. I want to watch the other ones as well, including the Home Alone one. That's something that I'm happy to be able to continue to watch. The things that I grew up with, right? To kind of learn the behind the scenes. It's kind of fun. Did I beat Jedi Fallen Order? Tom Anderson, I did. That was in this channel, I think. Couple weeks ago. Another reason why I'm not streaming in the evenings, not just because I'm busy with the holidays and busy with Jedi, if I'm not, helping Santa Claus with other families, I don't really have a game to play through. Like, Jedi Fallen Order needs more chapters. I'm not going to be a completist and go back and get everything. I think Chris Miller did. I did not. I'm not sure if Chris is here right now, but I'm not, I guess I'm not much of a completist for gaming. I know Battlefront 2 has longer playability, but I get my clock cleaned if I played against anybody online. It's not going to happen. It's like the price of the box of the cereal. He goes for that, then tosses the non-plant-based cereal away. Jeff Norris, you are correct. This is the prize right here. I'm never gonna get tired. Never gonna get tired of Star Wars figures. Ever. I'll go to my grave. Bury me with my AT-AT driver. That's what I want. You're 2 behind on The Mandalorian. Catch up, Liz. Catch up. It's time. Catch up. Hey, Chris, will you start watching Christmas movies with Jedi? We have. I can't say that we've been completists. She likes the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, and I enjoy that series as well. I think Ben Cody Kirk, I guess he hasn't seen it. I'm like, it kind of shocked me when he said that. She watched The Grinch, Jim Carrey's Grinch, last night in a theater. They had a local theater that had it, and she and Diana went. And in fact, of all the Grinches, and there are 3 of them, I guess, the original Seuss cartoon, which I grew up with, obviously, the Carrey Grinch, or Ron Howard's Grinch, and then the new one, the animated feature-length film, which I did not enjoy as much. It was more like a self-loathing kind of Grinch. Carrie's Grinch, to me, out of the 3, if you gave me a choice, I'd probably be my favorite. I enjoyed it greatly. More so than the original. I grew up with the original, right? The classic. So she saw that last night, and she's seen it before, or at least bits and pieces of the Grinch. The live action one with Jim Carrey. We watched a few of the films together. Not all of them, but all in good time. I'm trying to get her into the Rankin Bass stuff, but man, it's hard. Kids these days, it's hard to kind of get them into the classic stuff because they're used to 3D animations and everything to be perfectly polished, and we didn't have that, right? At all. It's a far cry from what we had. So there's a certain bit of nostalgia that, of course, I have with the with the classics, and maybe one day she will come around to it. But I'm not going to hold that against her. You can't. Another reason why I love Star Wars and the fact that it's continuing under Disney is because there is a chance for us to kind of, find a different, a way of attaching to Star Wars in an emotional way that isn't just based upon, the films that I grew up with, the 3 films that I grew up with. You rewatched Christmas Eve on Sesame Street? I don't even know if Jedi could tell you the difference between Kermit the Frog and Cookie Monster, or Big Bird even. Really sad to hear about Carol Spinney too. The closest thing is the Muppet Babies. She's seen the new Muppet Babies cartoon. Getting her to watch 2D cartoons, like the classic cartoons, she can tell the difference. Like even at 5 years old, she can see the difference, and tends to not push back against it. But the classic 2D animation is not her thing. Ain't her thing. Can't force it upon her. Santa Claus is Coming to Town has the best music. Is that the one that's got Heat Miser and Cold Miser? And does it also have the put one foot in front of the other and soon you'll be walking out the door? You put one foot in front of the... Is that the one? I get them confused. I enjoy them all, don't get me wrong, but I get them confused. You know, the one thing that doesn't seem to be prevalent in this Chicken Walker, though, a lot of detail in there, dude. A lot of detail. No red light. There needs to be like a red light in here. Like, okay, sorry, spoilers. There needs to be a red light in here. I may have to get like a little red LED pellet to drop in there. Because, man, it needs to be red. I will assemble this tonight after the stream. Oh, Burgermeister Burger. Burgermeister Burger. I don't have his voice, right? Burgermeister Burger. But you know, these voices that you hear, like you'll hear the same voices from the same era in different films or animations or even movies. Like was it Keenan Wynn? And I'm not sure his relation to Ed Wynn. Who I'd imagine would be a brother, or certainly relative, because they were both prevalent in a lot of Disney stuff back in the that day. He was Winter, the Winter Warlock. Keenan Wynn was the Winter Warlock. He has a very unique voice. Ed Wynn also has a very unique voice. Ed Wynn, I want to say, was in Mary Poppins and Babes in Toyland. And also, King Candy, I think, has a very Ed Wynn sounding voice. King Candy from, not Ralph Breaks the Internet, but Wreck-It Ralph. Voiced by, K2SO. The chicken from Moana. Voiced by, Washburn from, Firefly. Why can I think of all his characters' names and I can't think of him? What's his name? King Candy sounds like this. And Ed Wynn, he also has a voice like this. I remember that in Babes in Toyland. What was his name? What's his name? The actor, voice actor. K2SO, come on. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Right on the tip of my tongue, too. Someone's going to say it, and I'm like, that's it! Alan Tudyk! Thank you! Thank you, Jeff! Thank you, Liz! It's like right on the tip of my tongue. I can literally... That's what's funny. I can remember every character he's voiced, but I can't... Yeah, he also did the chicken from Moana. Did you know that? It's funny. He's a funny guy. Anyway. Well, you know, I enjoy a lot of that stuff. I always will. I have a lot of toys around me. A lot of toys. Too many, probably, around me. Not enough. Too many and not enough. Most of them, admittedly, are Star Wars toys. I also have the heavy infantry Mandalorian. I almost called him a heavy Mandalorian. Not sure if he has a rocket, if that's the rocket packer, it's just the armor, but this was also an exclusive heavy infantry Mandalorian. A brawny warrior. A brawny, not a paper towel. This is D2. I think D1 was General Grievous. I imagine these things are going to sell very, very well. I thought it was the heavy infantry Mandalorian who was flying at the end of that episode. Spoilers, you know, it's been a few weeks since that episode. But I also have this Mandalorian right here. Can't have enough Mandalorian stuff. You can't. You can't have too many Scoutwalkers either. Just can't. Or Platoonians. It's never going to happen. Never too much. So that's what I have for everybody tonight on a Friday evening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening, as well as hearing my explanation as to why I haven't been streaming in the evenings as of late. I don't know if I'm getting back into some kind of regular schedule. Maybe as soon as I clean up these toys, once we're past the holiday season, maybe, we shall see. I do love you. And I do appreciate you. You're welcome to join us in Discord, live.pirillo.com. There's not a lot of activity that's going on there because I'm not doing. It's unfortunately, and what's great is that there's enough of a base there that like Airwolf is in there, Jeff is in there frequently enough. Probably a few others that I'm missing here in chat. We all have busy lives. I get that, but I'm just saying that's certainly there at your disposal. Don't dispose of it, but it is at your disposal. I am going to float on out of here. I'm going to put that link in the description. We'll definitely check out that phone mount, is what Tyler says. So remind me. It will be going in there not long after the broadcast is wrapped. I love you. I appreciate you, as I've said before. At this point, however, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. And may the Force be with you after you catch up on all the Mandalorian episodes, Liz. Huh?